Welcome to this quick workshop on habit formation. And as part of this series of kind of mindset sessions, I'm Philip Brady. I'm a leadership and executive coach, and I've been invited by your gym to share some of these really short and snappy sessions so that you get the information that's actionable and relevant to you, and that you can apply it in whatever way is useful as you build positive habits, make changes in your life, but also that you have some of the latest research and information from some of the best books and scientific research as well to back up some of these pieces. I want to keep them short and snappy, so let's get to it. One of the benefits of setting up habits is exactly by James Clear, who wrote the amazing book Atomic Habits. This quote here: so the ultimate purpose is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. And so when we're trying to think about habits, one of the things that's helpful then is how might we save energy and use the habit loop, which I'm going to show you in a second, to spend as little energy and effort as possible by making it really easy to do what it is that you want, to move it towards the goals that you've set for yourself. The impact if you don't have habits or clear, actionable things that will take you to the future is it's very easy to go back to the old way of being and doing, because it's comfortable, it's known. You had certainty there that it kept you around the people that you loved, people that you cared about, you had a group that you belonged to, all that kind of stuff. And so when we want to move towards the future or towards something new and different, habits will help us get there. Habits are helping you bring the future closer. And so some of the information that's helpful to think about that you can do, again, I want to try and keep these really small, really tactical, but hopefully useful to explain them as well, is to think about this cue, cravings, response, reward loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll see the order of the loop. Top left, cue, the information that predicts the reward. So you see a cookie on the counter, you get a craving, you get some kind of reaction in your body like cookies are nice, and you remember how nice they are. Number 3, the response. So what's the habit? So this is where the habit takes place. So the habit that you perform, either in a thought, so if there's certain things that trigger a certain thought for you, or it's the behavior, you eat the cookie. And then the reward. Hey, cookies taste good, right? So you feel good after the reward. So every goal, every habit has these kind of cycles that you run through when you're experiencing a habit loop. And so what I wanted to do is to show you if you wanted to remove a habit that you didn't want. And again, you just flip these the opposite way if it's a habit that you want to make happen. So let's say you don't want to eat as many cookies. You make them invisible. So you take them off the counter, which I'll show you in a second. You make it unattractive. You make it kind of unappealing to be able to do it. So it could be through effort or something like that. And you also make it difficult to do. So again, if there's an effort or an energy expenditure, you're actually less likely to do it. And then make it unsatisfying. So something that you're not really appealing or something that you don't really want to move towards. So for example, the cue, don't leave the cookies on the counter, which means you don't get the same craving, which means that it's harder to eat the cookie. You might have to drive to the shop, you might have to climb a flight of stairs, whatever it is, and then you don't get the feeling of guilt. So that's the reward from not going into that habit loop. So we've removed, you could say, a negative habit or a habit that you want to do less by making it invisible, making it unattractive, making it difficult, and then making it unsatisfying. So there, how to use that kind of habit loop the opposite way so that you can remove some of the habits. For some of the ones that you want, so let's say you want to exercise more, let's say you want to run more, let's use that as an example. And this again is from Atomic Habits by James Clear. So you start with the identity, whereas typically we start with the outcomes. For example, I want to run a marathon. The process is then I need to run a certain amount of times, but we forget that there's an identity statement. If you don't identify as a runner, it's very hard to show up and do the process, so you're less likely to get the outcome. So let me show you that. So here's the identity first. I am a runner. The process is I run 3 times a week, and then you get the outcome of running a marathon. So starting with identity, what is the identity of the person you want to be? Then that determines the processes or the behaviors that you do, and then you get the outcome from doing the process because the identity is there. And again, another piece from Atomic Habits is, so what's your 1% from this video? Because when we make it 1%, really small, really actionable, really simple, well, then you're more likely to take action, you're more likely to make progress. And as you see here, 1% better every day is 37.38 times the starting position you were in a positive direction. And so you can only but improve when you focus on 1% improvements. So what is that going to be for you from this video? I'm Philip Brady. My business is Vitamin P Coaching, and I hope that this has been a useful session on habit formation. I'll see you in the next video.